Hello everyone and welcome to Orf. My name is Philip and thank you for stopping by, and let me tell you a little story. In January of last year, Lil Yachty released a fantastic album entitled Let's Start Here. It was a surprising venture into psychedelic rock, and I found it truly great, probably about an A tier for me. And I was working on a review for this album, and then about halfway through the editing process, my laptop died while it was plugged in. Motherboard issue would have cost me about as much as I paid for the laptop to fix it. So I lost the video. I managed to squeeze out a few other videos on my garbage laptop in early 2023 before taking a break for over a year. And now I'm back. And my tech is up to date, and everything's good, but now when I think about early 2023, the first thing that comes to mind is this album, not just because it's a great record, but because I was so frustrated that I didn't get to share my enjoyment of it here with you. Fast forward to mid-2022, and we have a new album by Lil Yachty collaborating with the one and only producer, singer, songwriter James Blake. I was very excited for this release because I couldn't wait to hear what these two would create together. It wasn't much of a surprise that they collaborated, given the ambitious nature of Let's Start Here from Lil Yachty in the first place. He seemed poised for more experimentation, and now that it's out, we have to ask ourselves, does it live up to the expectations? Before we get into that, here's another thing that I'm upset about. I actually made a reaction video to this entire album, about 45 minutes long, and you can go watch it right now on No, Just Kidding, you can't, because Motown Records blocked the whole thing. But you know what? During that video, I was having a blast. To be clear, Bad Cameo is not a record I will be listening to all the time, because one word to describe it is chill. This album is not something I would listen to when driving or hanging out with friends in most cases. It lacks much of an edge, and there's a few things about it that are not perfect. In the reaction video that will now never see the light of day on YouTube apparently, I described the album experience as being similar to a plot diagram that your English teacher might have shown you in 3rd grade or something. You know that graph that shows that the basic plot of a story has the rising action leading to a climax, followed by the falling action? You know what I mean? My experience with this album was kind of similar to that, with the peak being track number 7. I'm not only talking about dynamics and tempo, by the way, but also song quality. Not to say that the album both begins and ends terribly. It actually starts well, gets better, and ends up similar to the beginning. However, it takes its time building to that point, because this album starts slow and it ends the same way. So rather than bumping this at a party, I would much rather listen to this while floating in a tub of salt water with all the lights off, envisioning myself floating through space surrounded by dolphins. The album's ambient and ethereal quality really showcases the synergy between James Blake's signature production and Lil Yachty's willingness to push his artistic boundaries. Tracks like Woo and Missing Man highlight this collaboration beautifully, offering lush soundscapes and introspective lyrics that invite listeners to really get lost in the music. James Blake's influence is palpable throughout, providing the kind of sonic depth and texture that his fans have really come to expect. And like I mentioned earlier, the standout moment on this album is definitely Twice. To me, it acts as the emotional and artistic peak of the record. Its layered instrumentation and dynamic progression make it a highlight not just of the album, but of both artists' discographies. So towards the beginning and the end, some of those tracks do feel like they are meandering a bit, sort of lacking the edge to fully engage the listener. I think the experimental nature of this album is kind of like a double-edged sword. While it's refreshing to see Yachty and Blake explore new territories, it sometimes results in a few songs that feel like they're still kinda searching for their identity. But despite these minor drawbacks, Bad Cameo is a bold and intriguing effort. It's a testament to both artists' desire to innovate and defy genre expectations. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, especially those looking for the high-energy hits that Yachty is known for in his earlier discography, or the melancholic intimacy that defines much of Blake's work. But for those willing to dive into its tranquil depths, the album offers a rewarding and immersive experience. In conclusion, Bad Cameo is an album that thrives on its chill vibes and experimental spirit. It's not a record for every occasion, but when the mood is right, it can provide a deeply satisfying listen. Both of these artists bring their unique strengths to the table, creating a project that is as captivating as it is unconventional. So for me, this one's probably gonna get a B+. It may not be perfect, but it's a fascinating journey worth taking. So those are my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours. Throw them in the comments. I will read all of them, I promise. How about instead of liking the video, you guys go email Motown Records and tell them to back off, because I want to make videos and have fun on YouTube, but I can't. Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, and see ya.